Hello, my name is Dominic Dongilli, and I am a Ph.D. student in the Departments of American Studies and Gender, Women, and Sexuality Studies at the University of Iowa. My work is motivated by community information needs and embodied knowledge creation in spaces like zoos, libraries, and museums. This summer, I had the unique pleasure to activate the archive of Iowa City's public access television channel, which was recently merged with Public Space One to form the Media Arts Co-op. The ethos of public access media is best explained by George Stoney and Red Burns, who define the work as, quote, an exploration of the ground on which people can interact electronically. But not much is left of these grounds. The internet and digital era has created a new ecosystem of media production that leaves public access, audio-visual production spaces, and cable infrastructure firmly rooted in the past. By 2030, a short 8.5 years from today, all VHS tapes in the United States will be degraded to the point of destroyed, posing both a unique and devastating ultimatum to a generation of grassroots and community media production spaces. As these VHS tapes' contents degrade, what memories and content will remain? The majority of formally trained archivists and institutional collectors would frame the problem as one of preservation and digitization. How do we fast-track mass accumulation and processing of these materials? Working within a small, community-based organization that proudly defines itself outside the orthodox boundaries of institutions, I ask different questions. How can these objects provide meaningful closure to a generation of community creatives? How can their life cycle foster community formation and creative inspiration in the present moment, in the future? I can answer these questions with numbers, the tangible outcomes of my work. 500 plus cataloged recordings with 500 plus left to document. A collection of oral histories, multi-institutional community collaborations, an archival open house and processing event, and an institutional report with collections plans. Those numbers and benchmarks are important and meaningful, but it is stories that best honor the collaborative and creative-based community of the archive itself, the institutional home at Public Space One. When these VHS tapes were recorded and broadcast, it was not to X number of faceless viewers across the nation. Instead, they were made to speak directly to the named neighbors, friends, and communities of the producers themselves. They spoke then, and they speak now. How do we, as a city and creative community, root ourselves in that dialogue? When these recordings were made, PATV staff gave the tapes labels meant to briefly describe their contents. One labeler, however, interpreted that directive differently. Filling in the line labeled contents, they simply wrote, quote, I like it. So I pose these questions to you. What media do you like? Whose creations and what communities engage you? How are you honoring that history? How are you perpetuating that engagement and that excitement in the future?